What's going on, world? It's your boy Boom back at it again for This Is 50 Man. We got a very special guest, one that we've been waiting for a very long time. Uh, you guys don't know, now you know. You've seen her everywhere. She's been all over this past year, man, having hit after hit after hit. We got the one and only Mariah, the scientist, in the building. Hey, Mariah, how's it going?
Hi. It's going good. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I mean, I'm happy to talk to you about this new project. But I want to first things first. I want to ask you, since you did Rolling Loud 2019 virtually, and then you did it, or not 2019, 2020 virtually, and then you did it again this year. How did it feel seeing just a crowd for the first time?
It was just crazy. I didn't know what to expect with Rolling Loud because, like in the past few years, the demographic has been like, a real like rap crowd, so I didn't know what to expect. And there and they knew all the words. So I mean, I felt, I was nervous, but they made me feel a little bit more comfortable, I guess. But it was exciting. That was the second time I ever performed with a crowd, like in life ever at Rolling Out. So that was crazy. But it was fun. I had a good time. The vibe was good for sure.
Definitely got comfortable. You took your heels off and everything. You went up there and showed out.
See, that's the thing. I will probably take my shoes off anywhere. In a studio, on anybody's stage. I'm good for that. Take my shoes off.
That being your second time performing, how did it feel just seeing the whole crowd just like recite your words?
It was just crazy. It was crazy. I didn't really I hadn't figured out the inner ear thing yet. I didn't have inner ear, so I couldn't really hear much, but they seemed to be having fun. So it seemed great. I don't know. I want to do it again. I would love to do it again.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, definitely you hot right now, so I know a tour is in the work and everything for you. So,
Something like that. We've been talking about it.
for sure, for sure. Now let's jump into this project, Rys Rys World. So now it's a lot. I got to first ask you the difference artistically on the cover from Master to Rys Rys World. Like on Master, it definitely looked like it had a lot of mystery to it, and it felt more controlled just based on the hand placed on your neck. Whereas on Rys Rys World, you had the arrow sticking out your heart, but you had a huge smile on your face that showed freedom. So break that down for us.
I just wanted it to be a metaphor. Like I wanted it to be metaphorical and ironic. Like clearly that is more. It's supposed to be more of a painful connotation, but like I think that when you fall in love, this sounds so corny, but when you fall in love with the wrong person, it just like technically it hurts, but you like mask it almost, to just because you're more intrigued by the potential and less by what it is in reality. So I just feel like that's ironic, like that's an ironic situation, and I wanted to portray it as best I could. So I was going for a strong metaphor with it, basically.
Okay, now you definitely, like, a lot of your music definitely deals with pain and addresses your personal struggles and journey through relationships. But I gotta ask you, from your point of view, how does creating music like this help you better understand yourself and identify yourself as a lover?
Um, I don't know if maybe it's just more about discussing how I feel, but overall, it's more just almost like I'm just listening to chain of events. I'm not necessarily trying to bash anybody, or put anybody down for what they have done or what I have done. It's more just, my best, like my best. It's like I'm shooting my shot at just telling the story like it was, And granted, that doesn't ever mean that nobody else will do the same shit on my behalf. Like if somebody might go out there in the world and make a song about me for all I know. I don't know. But that's just their storytelling. Like, we'll just have to go story for story, I guess, and I think it would be interesting, but I think it's more just it's almost like conversational, like I'm just telling my end, basically.
Now, being honest as you are on your music, does that ever, and for people's amusement, does that ever trip you out? Does it ever trip you out that your honesty may be like, it's deep down, it's trauma for you, but our personal struggle, but it's amusement to millions of people throughout the world you've never seen or never encountered, just knowing that you have
Right.
stories that they go through and you help them.
You know, it's weird because the first time I play something for somebody, I feel really like, um, I don't even know how to describe the way I feel. I'll probably just sit there. I won't make any eye contact. Shit. Like I just like more quiet. I don't. It's like it's not a nerve thing. It's more just like you put a big secret. It's almost like you're putting big secrets into words, and then you wind up just basically just putting everything out on the table, and then it, like I said, it's weird to show somebody one on one or to play it for somebody for the first time. But then it's like anytime it's a release day, it's like I don't feel that way anymore. It's just like it's out there. You can listen to it. I don't know how you're gonna interpret it, but that's up to you, because it's not like I don't believe in compromising the art for um like reservation or to preserve someone else's feelings. Like I don't really believe in that. I think the best music is, it's not really considering, it doesn't really consider how other people will feel about it, which kind of sounds fucked up, but it's just like, it's just art, like I really wish that people didn't take a lot of stuff that people say in music to heart, because it's simply expression, and it's not like a lot of time I go to Twitter and I'll tweet this one particular tweet and I'll delete it, and then the next time I feel this way I'll tweet it again, and it is feeling sinister, though I won't act on it. So it's like I'll feel some type of way and I'll express it with a song, but it's not like I'm gonna, like, I have a video where I kill a nigga. I'm not gonna go kill a nigga in real life. It's just expression, and I don't mean to offend anybody. It's just metaphorical. Like, I think it's a great way, like imagining things and expressing things is almost like some like self-therapy type shit. I think everybody should, like, not, I'm not saying everybody should go to the studio and make a song or this or that, or write a song, but just art in general, I think everybody should try it at least once. I think it's really good for you.
Okay. And then the video you talking about where you actually, kill a man is Reminders. Now I got to ask you, was there any Kanye West influence on Reminders? And the only reason I ask is because you putting the guy in the trunk is exactly how on Flashing Lights Kanye was put in a trunk and killed with a shovel. So I gotta ask you, like, and you've mentioned Kanye having an influence, or you having an influence on, or Kanye in the past. So I just want to ask.
I definitely like Kanye West, but that little trunk part of the video wasn't my idea. I had a completely different idea for, I don't want to say completely different. It was similar to the Reminders video, but the basis of it was like, it was different. So like some of it looked the same aesthetically, like the house, and maybe the styling was similar, but a lot of the story points that were important to me, they like sacrificed, I guess, because I don't really know why. It kind of made me, like, now that I've shot more videos and stuff, I figure, it's you have to be like super, super assertive ahead of time and while you're there with the director if you don't want your video to be, turned into somebody else's idea. And I think that Reminders, like that was like the first video I ever shot, I think, maybe the first or second. So I was really leaning on other people imposing their ideas on me at first, but I think I've relatively figured it out. So it's like, if it's something I don't like now, I'm like saying we ain't doing it, or we don't have to shoot this shit. I don't like that. We ain't doing it. Because I'm paid. So we're gonna do it my way. But Reminders, that trunk scene, that wasn't my idea. They just put it in there, to say the least.
Right. Now it's mentioned that it took you 2 years to complete Rys Rys World. And I gotta ask you, being that it took that long, and to, like you said, on release days, you don't feel any type of nervousness or anything anymore after that. How do you feel about critics and the response they've given on the new project?
Um, I take criticism on the internet with a grain of salt because somebody always got something to say. Like it never ends. I can get on the internet, like every day I get on the internet and it's some bullshit and somebody comments. And it's just like the majority of it is just opinions, And they are entitled to that. Like if you have an opinion about that project and you don't really like it, that's fine too. People had opinions about the other project. People will always have opinions, but some of it, like the strange part is people don't really have that energy in your face. Like people not gonna say that in your face. They'll go on like some weird burner account, like fan type account, and say some shit on there. They ain't gonna say that to your face. And it's just really like like that type of shit. It's just that just brings me to a whole nother conversation about the internet. But constructive criticism is one thing, and that's definitely something that I'm hard on myself about. Like I'll do something like a performance, or like those first performances when I had no idea what I was doing, like they sound terrible. I tell everybody that like I just don't like it. I've been trying to try my best to figure that out. But that's because I'm really big with myself on constructive criticism. Like all that internet shit doesn't mean shit to me. Sometimes it's like if you pay too much attention to it and you like constantly feeding into it, I'm sure it will hurt your feelings because people get like really just like brutal on the internet, and it's like for no reason, especially because they don't know you. They probably have barely even given your project a chance. It's like real life opinion. People are very opinionated on the internet, but it's kind of something you just got to turn a blind eye to and you just like focus on what you want your art to make and focus on, like you just do the best on your end. And if you believe that, then you don't, it's not really a reason to be paying attention to what somebody else got to say about it, because it's your expression, not theirs. So maybe they need another avenue of expression. It's not your avenue, but that's fine. It's cool. Like there's people who don't like Frank Ocean. Are they delusional? I don't know. Maybe, probably. But it's just opinions. Everything's opinions.
That's true. That's true. Now, internet aside, internet trolls aside, or internet social media aside, what about publications where a lot of artists seek validation from, like the Rolling Stones, the Pitchforks, the Faders, the This Is 50s, even that?
Right. So the first project, Master, once I saw the Pitchfork review, I think it was like 7.3. I was like, 7.3, like that's a C. Like in my brain, that's a C. And a lot of people were telling me Pitchfork is just really, they have like this really they have a really critical scale. Like Pitchfork is a tough one, like they would tell me and stuff like that. And that's fine too, but I'm so hard on myself. I wanted a 10, but it's then again, I have to remember but this is about somebody else's standards, which is fine. So, and even the first project, like it's very much classic to me, but the second project, I felt like it was more well-rounded. So I don't want to say I made expectations for it, but I thought maybe it would be higher than the last one, but then it was the same as the last one. So then I started thinking, well, maybe I'm consistent in their world. And then I looked at other people's reviews, like not necessarily to make comparisons, but like I started looking at other stuff, and it was like, projects that I thought were really good had lower ratings than me. And then there's like Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone published something, or like they have this chart or something for like, I think like emerging artists. I can't remember exactly the name of the chart, but they put me as number 1 on it. And then there was Billboard, or maybe that was, I hope I'm not confusing these two, like that would be terrible. But I know that Rolling Stone and Billboard both made some sort of publication about me, and it was relative to a chart. And it was number 1 on them, or one of them, or both. I can't really remember. And I mean, that obviously felt good, but sorry, I accidentally locked my phone. That felt good, but it's just, it's still an opinion. I feel like you just can't live in somebody else's opinion. Like even if you go and you get nominated for all of these big awards and whatnot, and you go and win them, like that's great. And the platform, like having a platform is really great, for you to push an agenda, but it's still just an opinion. Like I don't think you should get too wrapped up in that. You should just, stay focused on what your agenda is. That's my opinion though.
In creating music, how do you balance what fans want from you and what you want from yourself?
I don't want to say that I'm not making music for people to, want or get something from it. But realistically, I'm not. I don't make music like average musician. I am not the average musician. Like I tell people all the time, I'm really not a musician. I was a scientist. Like, that was my primary thing. And I just fell into doing something else, almost like, it was secondary at first. And then because, anything can become primary for you depending on the work ethic you put into it, So it's like I put the work ethic into music, and then music became primary for me. All the other shit became secondary, and I guess you do factor in what people probably want from you when it comes to the fact that it's a fine line between making music just because you like to make music and making music as a career. It's like at a certain point, it's paying your bills, so you have to consider that. But I think that people tune in and like you most, or they want authenticity from artists. It's like artists who go out and they start doing shit that's not really them, then they dwindles down, or like, they don't get as much interaction on shit because it's not really them. That's not something I will ever compromise. Like I'll never do something that's not me to appease somebody else, And I
Right.
think that that's what people look forward to. That's what people, I think that's the shit people want. That's just what I think about it though. I don't know for sure. Like some people do want you to change up who you are and change up the kind of art you make, but that's not something I'm into.
Now, one thing you've mentioned before in the past is owning your own masters. That's something that's very rare for a female talent, just overall a musician, period. But having a female talent like yourself, you created a unique sound for yourself that led to this to happen. What is some advice that you give to other female artists that are up and coming that could really help with knowing that information, especially when it comes to the negotiation tables where they get a chance to have a record deal? It's like it's important to own your own masters as far as the deal.
I think when it comes to signing, not all deals are bad deals. Like I have a good, I think in my opinion, I have a relatively good deal, like one of the best deals, somebody could probably have, but that doesn't mean that you will have a good relationship with the people that you have partnered with, and what you do on your own changes what you have to leverage. So in my opinion, I think I signed too soon. If I could go back, I would probably wait longer or not do it at all. I don't want to say not do it at all because I do see um there's I do see it. There is a benefit to signing, I think, but I don't think you should do it too early, And then a part of that is if a label wants you, or if multiple labels want you, which really what it comes down to is if it's just one label that wants you and they come to you and they want to sign you, I'm gonna say don't sign. You need to wait until everybody knows about it. Everybody knows about them trying to get you, and then now they know, and now everybody else knows, and you have to make it competitive. It should be if you're gonna sign, I think it should be competitive at the time because it's just a lot to leverage like that. And so when you go in there and they like you, or they're saying that they like you, I just feel like you have to make them prove that they like you, almost like dating. It's like dating, And I'm not saying you should ask for things when you're dating. Like you shouldn't make expectations when it comes to dating somebody, but from a partnership, like professional partnership perspective, I think you go in there leveraging things like what you bring to the table, like I bring this and that. And like for me personally, it was like I write all my music. I literally ever had anybody give me a lyric. I do every single piece of creative direction. Like the majority of my treatments, maybe less in the beginning, majority me, if not all me. I don't have stylists, like things like that. It's like when you start listing things that they won't have to pay for, it's like, okay, it's almost like the value goes up, like your stock goes up type shit, you know, because every label deal is an investment. So I think you go in there leveraging what you have it's almost like you have to focus a lot on what you have to offer first before you go asking somebody else what can they offer. So it's like you go in there with everything, they're gonna be like, you know, well, what does she need me for? I guess we really have to go hard with the offer, you know. And then I was really adamant about owning my masters, like, and I was talking to my lawyer in the beginning, like, no, I don't want to stand like this could really go into a long conversation. I hope that I'm not talking too much.
No, not at
But
all.
like the standard deal is like percentage wise is really fucked up. And a lot of people don't acknowledge that. So, you know, I basically asked for something that wasn't like that. I didn't want to send 82, like the percentage splits are 82 and 18. That's standard. And the label gets 82. This is for everybody. And I told my lawyer, I'm not going for that. I'm not doing it. Why would I, you know, and then they own all that shit. I was like, why would I sell off my shit for 18% of my shit? Like, absolutely not. You know, I'm not doing that. So they're gonna have to change that. I told them I wanted to own it. I would lease it to them, you know, like you let them license it rather. Sorry. I licensed it to them for a number of years, but at the end of that period, I'm getting my shit back, you know, and I still own all of it. So I do think that you should just, you know, it's more about educating yourself on what you want out of it. Maybe if you don't really care too much about the business side, sure. I mean, whatever, you know, but I do think it's something to educate yourself about and make sure that you are averaging the right things when it comes to that.
No doubt, no doubt. That's definitely something that a lot of people can take advice from that definitely are trying to pursue their career right now. So being that, you know, your name is Mariah, or the scientist, being that you know, originally was St. John biology major, turns musician now, I gotta ask you, a scientist, you know, doesn't really get the same popularity, same all eyes on them as a musician would. Like, so I want to ask you, what is, in your opinion, give us the price of fame?
The price of fame are 1,000,001 sacrifices. That's all I can say. You gonna wind up sacrificing almost everything you have and everything about yourself for that shit. And I tell everybody that. And it's not something that I'm not willing to do. So I always say, if it come down to it, if it come down to this sell your soul type shit, I'm not doing it. Like I just say, okay, cool, fuck it. I don't have to do that. You know, and I do agree that things that are more important than pop culture and stuff like you know, just education in general or science in general. I think science is a part of everything. Like these curtains on this wall is made out of a particular textile and they're hanging from a particular, like, you know, it's just everything is just like has some sort of scientific connection. And I think that's really important. And so I'm about to try to push that agenda. Like I have a plan for it and everything, you know, to try to bring, you know, what is important full circle with what is a little more superficial. Plan to leverage what I know, you know, what I have been educated on. I plan to leverage that and push it through the face of this, you know, popular Mariah scientist as singing ass stuff, you know, like that's my plan, you know. But it's just crazy, you know, pop culture is a really crazy thing. It's just a crazy thing, and it still comes back to the internet. And when I say things like selling your soul, it's more like you have just compromised who you are as a person. You wind up compromising who you are as a person to, you know, gain something and this and that. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people do that for sure. And that's just something I'm not willing to do.
Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, being an educated woman and having a whole year and a half lockdown, man. I mean, you didn't get to finish school because you know, took your passion to music full head and, you know, turn something into something great. I want to ask you, have you thought about returning to school at any point in time and graduating, and the importance of an education when people say like, okay, why should I go to college when I can make it as a musician? Look at Mariah the Scientist.
Well, see, Mariah the Scientist went to college. So it's not something that I just completely, you know, disregarded. I didn't. I was very much, my parents definitely made sure I prioritized my studies through grade school and all of that, you know, and then I got a scholarship to St. John's and I took that shit, you know, I took that chance and it was far away. I didn't know anybody there. I knew it would be not that easy, but I am passionate about science. So I took a chance and I just happened to get up here. I'm actually in New York right now. That's why I'm up here. I just happened to get up here and then, it's just, see, the thing about college is a lot of people don't go to college just to get a degree. They go to college to learn all this other shit about them, and that's not what I went for, but you eventually learn that anyways. Like you evolve into this person who's learning things that has nothing to do with what you went up there to learn about, basically. And so I've definitely considered going back over the quarantine. I thought about it the most. Like I could have been doing it right now. I don't know if there's a way for me to do it online. I was definitely thinking about it, but with biology and any like of the sciences, you have to do labs, and that's more an in-person thing. They don't really have a way around that, And I don't even know. I was wondering this whole time what is their method with it with like the pandemic. I don't really know how they're going about it, but I've definitely considered it, and I would do it for sure in a heartbeat. And if St. John's is listening, I always say shit about like how universities give out honorary degrees. Like that would be cool to say that I have the degree, but I really do want to finish it. Like I think every day I think about the stuff that I didn't learn, because I'm quick to pull out some sort of scientific fact on somebody like, no, that's not true. It's this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it just makes me think about what else, like the other stuff that I don't know yet. Like science is just, I just wish people appreciated it like I do, because it is very important and it's very interesting. Like it's in everything. Like it's really crazy.
For sure. I got you credit Frank Ocean as one of your biggest inspirations. Another person that inspires you a lot, and is from the same, from the same hometown as you, is Monica. So I want to know, would you ever think about doing a collaboration with Monica, and how she influenced your music?
I love Monica. I just grew up on Monica. Like I have she used to have a relationship with Rocco, and Rocco is a family, like my family, my aunt and uncle were really close with him. And or maybe they still are. I don't know. I haven't tapped into that. But she is just like just little things, like she's just really Atlanta, like her accent, and like she's a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio. She's just like super poised in general, and like her music is amazing. Like, like anytime Monica comes on, like everybody's ready to fucking turn up. I know I am. I used to have a Monica song in my set list for the longest. I'm trying to think, what song was it? So Gone. I had So Gone in my set list for the longest, and I just now took it out before like a couple of shows ago. Like I just now took it out, but I fuck with Monica for real, like dead serious about that one. And I would love to do that. I don't know if she's into that, or I don't even know if she knows who I am, but I would like at least to meet her. I think that would be cool for sure.
It's something we spoke into existence right now. So, we'll figure
right.
Yeah. All right. So I got to ask you about your video Aura, and just tying it in with your personal life. Look, has Cupid got you yet?
Cupid got me a couple times. That's why I don't fuck with that nigga. I don't fuck with him because it's like I'm on his hit list or some weird shit. I just steer clear away from all of that now. Like I date and stuff like that. And I would love to be, I would love to have another relationship that is, healthy and makes sense for me. But the couple of times that he did get me, like I have no good reviews for him. I'm not going on Google and giving him 5 stars. That's all I can say. Like he don't even get no stars from me for the type of shit he done put me in. But there is somebody, I like somebody now. I like them a lot, but shit get weird. This music shit just on all ends, like me making music, regardless of whatever anybody else does, it's not always ideal. That's why the price, or when you ask what's the price of fame, and granted, I'm not famous, but I think it's just like you wind up sacrificing all of these things, and one of them being relationships, for sure. I've had to sacrifice a lot of relationships based on, for the sake of my career. That's for sure.
Now, from To Die For, master to Rys Rys World, I gotta ask you, what have you recognized about yourself as a growing artist?
I think in the beginning, like To Die For and Master is just really like stuck on stupid for somebody. And then, like you evolve to Rys Rys World and it's like I'm like, it's just not the same shit. Like you still have those like saddened moments and you may feel some type of way. Like certain songs I guess are more like All For Me is kind of like a sad type song, like desperation, like there's still some desperation there. But then I have like Walked In that like reminds me that I'm young, I'm not even in my prime yet. It's fucking lit. Like, why would I be concerned about what a nigga got going on? Like, I should be outside, turning up, meeting new people anyway, So I think it's just the evolution. And I think I feel more confident now. I think I'm better at, I just think I'm better than what I used to be, and I think that's really important, especially, and I think anybody can make that happen, in their career or whatever, it's just a work ethic. Just like I said, music wasn't primary for me. Music wasn't even on my roster of things I could do at all, ever in my life. It's like, I always liked music. I like to sing, even if I wasn't the best at it, I liked it, and maybe I was good at writing and stuff like that, literature, generally speaking, but anything, you can make anything happen with work ethic, that's my opinion.
Sure, for sure.
So I think it's just evolution. Just the evolution is it's crazy. It's broad too, so many ways. Like I look at myself differently for sure.
No doubt. Now I want to ask you, has any conversations with your parents about relationships and love translated into the music?
Well, my parents are divorced, so I don't look to them for any relationship advice. Like they are not the people to go to for that. And they know that. Like this is not something that will offend them when they see it, they are just crazy as hell. Like I don't even know. My parents are crazy for real. Like, especially when it comes to each other. Like they just crazy, And I think that the thing about it is when it comes to this is what I take away from that type of stuff. Or at least my parents' relationship. I think that they probably did used to love each other a lot and they really did used to get along and have a great friendship. Like in my opinion, on when it comes to relationships, I think it goes from like friendship and then you like integrate, intimacy and romance, and then it turns into a romantic relationship. And then a lot of people wind up sacrificing the friendships, even though that's how you got in the door in the first place. So I think it's really important to foster your friendship when it comes to a relationship. And I'll be trying to convince my parents to foster their friendship. And I'm not saying or trying to tell them to make expectations for getting back together. And I don't even want to make that expectation, even though that's really what I want. That's my end game. But I would never tell them that because I think it's just mainly important that they just, worry about the friendship. And my parents I don't think my parents take me seriously when it comes to relationships anyways, because like my mom thinks I'm mean as hell. I don't know why. My mama think if a nigga do something like cross me in any perspective, I'm crossing them out and I'm never looking that way again. Like she literally thinks I'm the meanest. And then my daddy thinks I'm this simp. So it's weird. Like my daddy thinks simp and I'm always in love. And my mama thinks I'm just like this mean girl who it's just like, and really what it comes down to is they don't know shit about what I got going on. They just make an assumption, but taken away from their relationship, I just think it's really important to foster a friendship and just be respectful, regardless of your personal agenda. Because once you get in a relationship, it's not about your personal agenda anymore. You still have to focus on yourself as an individual, but you have other things to prioritize. People forget that a lot.
I see. Now going back to Rys Rys World, man, it's a phenomenal album. I mean, it's obviously your major label debut, but I want to ask you, is there anything that got left off that you really wanted to get on the album?
Yes, I wanted some. Well, there is a deluxe, and I'm gonna put the deluxe out, but it took so long. Like toward the end, it was taking long for Rys Rys World to come out because I was trying to secure some features. Like Young Thug, I really wanted Young Thug on a project, and I had to hunt him down. every day I was on his line, like, please get on this song. I'm coming back up to the studio. Like, I'm pulling up, like, he has a studio in Atlanta. Like, I'm pulling up to the studio. I don't care if you ain't there, if you are there. Like, I'm coming up there and I'm waiting on you to show up because I need this done. Please do it for me.
Right.
And I was just so adamant. And he did it. And even on the deluxe, I have asked a couple of people to get on this one song. And just everybody is giving me the runaround on the song. Like, the thing is, I know the song is a good song. It's just like, when it comes to that, you realize that other musicians have a million different agendas. So it's like somebody might not get on your song, but they might get on somebody else's song because it's a political move for them. Or maybe they just are busy. I asked Cardi B, she pregnant, so it's like you can't force it. There's just so many things that could happen or couldn't happen. And you can't really take it personally. Sometimes, in the beginning, I was taking it personally. I got into it with somebody over, I don't want to say I got into it with them, but it was kind of like we got into it over them not doing a feature. But it was mainly because I asked them for, like, they had been really adamant about, contributing to my project in some way. And I asked them to get on it, they didn't get on it. Then they got on somebody else's song. And I was like the excuse they gave me was almost like I can't do any features right now because I'm doing something else. And it was like they didn't get on mine, but then they went and got on somebody else. So I'm like, is it more political or you just didn't like the song? Like, I just wish people were more honest about that. But I don't know. And just also like visuals, that's something I'm really big on. Like if the visuals aren't right, then I will for sure push a project back for that. That's something I would definitely extend some time for. But it's a lot of things that goes on with that for sure. They made it 2 years. I hope it'll be like that again. Like the next project won't take 2 years to come out. I'm trying to put another project out soon, to say the least, after the deluxe at least.
Okay. Now, To Die For was pretty much your breakout, like your grassroots following pretty much found you on that project. Now, being that you used some of the songs for your for your 2 projects that you just put out in a year's time, is there any thoughts of making a project like To Die or titled To Die For and putting it out on a streaming platform?
Well, I have used, me and my sister have used To Die For on this boutique that she is like, trying to get together and stuff. So it's like we still definitely fuck with the name, but I don't think I would put another project out called To Die For because I don't want to confuse, like it won't be the same track list. It wouldn't be like, because I've already used some of it. I used Reminders and Beetlejuice on the last one, and I used Brain on this one, and one of the songs called Church is going on a deluxe. So I don't think I would reuse it because I would want it to be like the OG project if I use the name, and I won't be able to get that now. So but the vibe of it, like the more dark vibes on To Die For and Master, I feel like the next project it'll be more like that. Like Rah Rah Roll is a little bit more upbeat and like, happier almost. And the next one is definitely sad again. So a little bit of back and forth.
Okay. Well, that can lead into our next question, being that you found producing during the pandemic, producing your own production, and you starting to work on your next project. I was saying, what can we expect on your next project, and how much of it will be just all you, like as far as production, songwriting, everything you do on your own? So how much of it will be all you on this project?
Well, right now, there's one song on there that is just strictly produced by me, and obviously I write all my music. So for now, I would say one. Like the production thing is hard though. Like I don't want people to think like obviously I've tried it, and I have succeeded in some ways, and made some things that I like. But realistically, I don't even go to the studio every day to record a song, let alone trying to be on a computer. Like making a beat could take a week, it could take multiple weeks, like when it comes to composition and stuff. And it's like I didn't know that before. Like the more you do music and like the more you start to work with other people and stuff and really see how this shit work, it's like I didn't know that every song has stems and you go into the stems and you take shit out or turn shit up and like it's so detailed, and I like that, but it is really meticulous. So it's like if you're not like super passionate about production, like I don't think it's something that somebody will just be doing to do. It's like something you have to really, like you have to focus on that, and it can get really tedious for sure. Like those couple of beats that I made over the pandemic, like the one that I'm using, it literally like it started as an idea, and then trying to like execute it and put it together. It was like it's just so many moving parts making a beat. Like that shit is crazy. It's a lot of work. Oh my gosh, it's a lot of work. And I don't know anything about it. So I was like calling around to like every single producer friend I have, like, first of all, how do I integrate this fucking machine into this software to even make it translate? Like, and that probably took 2 days by itself, me trying to figure out how to fucking hook the keyboard up to Fruity Loops, which is the software that you like track a beat, like basically, like make a beat concrete, like you save it on there. That alone took a couple of days. Like it's just, and then like actually making it on there, that probably took, I don't know, 2 more days. Like all up through the late night. Like I didn't get no sleep in the pandemic. Like it was just strung out. Like the vibes were strung out over the pandemic, to say the least.
Okay. Well, last question. This is 50. We got to ask you, man. Tell us some of your favorite 50 Cent moments.
50 Cent. My favorite 50 Cent moments as of recently or just of all time?
All together.
I'm gonna start more recent and say Power. I'm fucking with Power. Like Power can go in any direction and I'm watching that shit. Like they could make a fucking spinoff with a New York alley cat, street cat, and I'm gonna watch it. Like I just fuck with the writing and all of that. I fuck with the fact that he's like really unapologetic in general. I don't know, and I also like that. I think 50 Cent I have never met him personally, but from what I do know about him or what I have seen, I think that he's cool, although I do think he's kind of a troll on the internet. But then again, that's why I say you gotta disregard the internet. The internet should just be chalked up to nothing altogether. Like it can be informational, but it's just really not. It has no substance, But I think, and of course, all of his songs, he has extremely classic hits that at any point in time they come on in the club is turned. So I think he's a cool guy. I don't know. Maybe I'll meet him soon or something.
Sure. Well, we look forward to that meeting. But like I said, your new project, Rys Rys World, is out now. Make sure you guys go check it out. Make sure you guys love every song that she has on that project because all of them are amazing.
Thank you.
Once again, we want to thank you just for being the person that you are, just for making the music that you make and being different. A lot of female artists out here today, and just making a lane for yourself and just being inspiring to a younger generation of females who look up to you and will follow in your footsteps and study your blueprint. We got to definitely see you on that one. But like I said, this is 50, Mariah the Scientist. We out of here. Peace.